Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I'm Jim Grant. We got another great presentation for you today of the messages of inspiration, hope, and support. And most importantly, let me cut off some videos here, and I'll bring them back on in just a few moments. Got a little bit behind there. We got talking and visiting and just having a good time, and that's understandable. But most importantly, let me share with you about Speakers Pathway Coalition, who we are, what we do, and they're the ones sponsoring this. Let me share my screen if I may. And let's get up here to Speakers Pathway. Okay, this is our homepage, speakerspathway.com. We got TEDx training there. We got complimentary gifts. If you're interested in who we are, what we do, and how we do it, that video right here is for you. Also notice the messages of inspiration, hope, and support. Each one of our speakers will have their individual presentation posted here, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But I want to mention very quickly, Don has a free guide for you. Don McGrath is co-founder of Speakers Pathway. I'm the other co-founder. 5 simple steps to your kick butt TED Talk. You can download this for free. We do not chase after people. This is our free gift to you, in fact, from Don to you. So please take advantage of that. Also, speaking is very important. People think of speaking in front of a crowd. Well, you can also speak on a webinar, make a video, and speak to thousands of people or maybe millions. So speaking is very important. Here's another free course that's being offered to you. Our complimentary gifts, we got a bunch of them. Each one of our executive training directors offers a free complimentary gift. You can just scroll down there and take a look at the gifts that's offered. Please take advantage of any of them because they're there for you. They're free. Please take advantage of them. Now, messages of inspiration, hope, and support. Each one of our speakers has a individual page here. And let me just click on Kim Carpenter right quick. And let's see, Kim, are you there? There she is. And the presentation, this is her individual YouTube video because each one of our speakers can use their individual presentation however they want to. In addition to that, you can read up a little bit about the individual person. Now, let's get busy and let me bring Donna to the stage. Donna, let me cut your video on and let me unmute you there. And welcome to the show. I tell you right now, you're going to be talking to us about the Apple technique. Would you share with the ones out there what the Apple technique is, please?
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. This is such an honor for me. Thank you again. The Apple technique is something that can work anytime, at any place. And it's really about times of uncertainty, when we're in doubt, when we're not sure about how life is supposed to go for us. And with this technique, because I do believe in intention and that we do create our life and how we want it to be. And especially now where we feel that uncertainty and we're not sure what's happening, it's a perfect opportunity to use this.
Sure. Well, let me do a couple things. Let me make you the spotlight video, of course. I got to do all this techie stuff here. And let me cut off Janie's video there, please. And let's see here. Let me do 2 things here. I got to cut off Julie's video there. I'm sorry. Got to do all this techie stuff. I want to mute my mic and cut off my video because the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. As I said in the introduction, and again, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited about this opportunity to be with you. This is just a technique that was developed in the UK in order to help assuage and ease those feelings of uncertainty, those feelings of fear of what is happening around us. And we have a lot of that now, and rightly so, but I believe in intention. I believe that we create our future. Our thoughts are things, and our thoughts attract. What are the thoughts that we want to be thinking? When we go into this space of worry and fear, we're attracting more of that. And I know that's not what we want. Now, am I diminishing all that's happening right now or what people are experiencing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because many people are having the so many things happening to them right now that they never even dreamed about. But now it is the opportunity to see our future and to see how it can be. Within that, we have to stop that feeling of tension and uncertainty that happens. And if we're going to choose thoughts, we have to take a break from whatever it is that's happening in our mind. And again, it's real and it's okay and it's happening. But when we get to that place that we really are feeling that tension, that we're really feeling that experience of the uncertainty of the future, the fear of whether it's illness or whether I'm going to be able to take care of my family, or am I going to be having a job in the future, whatever that happens to be, stop and acknowledge it. It is okay. It's acknowledging that fear of uncertainty, that not knowing what's going to happen in the future. So as the Apple technique, this is the A, the acknowledgement that it is the real feeling that I'm having right now. And it is, again, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but acknowledge it, name it, identify it. What is it? In the P of Apple is pause, which is to take time to identify it. Pull back and say, okay, I'm having this feeling because, and name it. Name it. And if we name it, we can then identify what it is to move it to the side. And I was talking earlier, and we were getting ready to come on, and I was saying, I have those moments. I have those times. I'm quarantining by myself. So there are those moments that that's not goes in my stomach and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? What is, all the thoughts running through my mind. I stop and I pause and identify it. And the most important part is the next steps and what we do with that. How do we move into a more secure place of allowing all of those good thoughts that we do have to come to pass? Pull back from the anxiety and the fear that you're having. Just realize at this point it's only a thought. It really is only a thought that we're having, because we have the ability to solve whatever happens. I don't want to say don't, I'm so sorry. What is the most important thing is the spiraling upward instead of the spiraling downward. If we're going to create something new in this pausing and this pulling back of the second P of Apple, then we have to figure out what our destination is and what we want to create and what our new thought is. So when I get to this pause and pulling back, the next thing that I do to really help that feeling for me personally is I look over here at the picture of my grandson and I think about, I will see him soon. I think about his delightful kisses on the phone when we're FaceTiming. I remember the hug that he gives me whenever I see him, because I'm in Tallahassee and he's in Miami. We're 500 miles apart. I remember and I feel the hugs that he gives me as soon as he sees me, as he comes running to me to say Nana. And I melt right in that spot. I find a feeling that brings me back to that place where I can let go, the L in Apple, let go of all that is happening. I have to let it go. The only way that we can see something new coming into us is if we let go of the feeling and the thought that is not allowing us to move forward. Fear is paralyzing. It really, really is. And again, the feelings that people are having now are real. But what can we do about it? It's about making that change so we can move forward. The E of Apple is to explore. How do we explore our options? One of the ways to explore our options is to see. This has been a really creative time for many people because they've been having the opportunity to feel what it is that they want to create, to know who they really, really are, and then make the leap into something brand new. And then they have been able to use technology, they've been able to touch base, they've been able to expand. It's all about what we want to create. One of the things that I use is a meditation in my business, and I really love it because it's about creating the future, and it means being in a safe, comfortable place and imagining, desiring, visualizing, dreaming, all of those things that will make us see our future in a safer, better, comfortable place, because that is happening. It's going to get better. Whatever we're experiencing now is a temporary thing. It doesn't feel like it, but it really, really is. And we have to see our future as it gets better. We have where we are now, and this is where we want to go. There are many routes from here to here. We can take this kind of route. We can take this kind of route. We can take this kind of route. Whichever way we want to go to get there, we have a choice. And allow that to open up to you. Explore a shift in focus of any way that works. And one of those that really helps is getting out there and exercising. How about planning something brand new to do with your family that will make everybody laugh and be happy? Because Lord knows that's the one thing that gives us that wonderful, loving feeling is laughter and joy. What about positive images to pivot? What is a place that you can go to in your mind that's actually absolutely delightful, absolutely brings you peace to the point that, oh my goodness, I feel that I'm there right now. I understand this feeling. It is amazing. I don't want to leave here. I'm really good being right here, being right here. Now that many of us are, as I said, I'm quarantining alone. So I have different options open to me. But for those people that are quarantining with their family, how are you incorporating them and how are you planning your day with them? Many of us are homeschooling. Now, as a former classroom teacher, I know having a classroom of 25 children to 30 children, what that was like. But when you're homeschooling, it's a totally different thing and a totally different set of teaching and options that you have open to you. It's more difficult to teach your own children, in my sense. It was easy to teach other people's children. And here you have a routine with them. Break up those days. Let them have some happy options to go through to have their day be as joyful as it possibly can. Well, how can you be creative with what is going on? This is one of the options that is there for you. Besides having this wonderful place, besides having this wonderful place in your mind, you are now creating whatever it is that is for your future. It's about acknowledge, it's about pause, it's about pull back, it's about let go, and it's about explore. The Apple technique works for anything where you are trying to create your future, where you are trying to see yourself in a better place. It's about knowing that with that apple, you can accomplish whatever you really want. This is a time that we can all be together. We can all be supportive of each other in so many different ways. Thanks to Speakers Pathway, this is what we have as an option in exploring this time together, in being able to create this. So what I'd like to do right now is just bring you to that place where you can see the future. I'd like you to breathe in and exhale. Breathe in and feel your body relax as you exhale. Breathe in and feel your feet relax. And as you gently breathe in and out, just listen to my voice. Feel your feet relax, your calves relax, your knees relax, your thighs and your hips relax as you're seated where you are right now. Breathe in this time and now feel that solar plexus, the third chakra, which is your power chakra. Hold the breath there. Feel it and let go. On this next breath, feel it go to your heart. Hold it there. Feel your heart expand, because the one most important thing is love that we have right now. On this next breath, it's about your throat and your shoulders. Our power chakra is the solar plexus. Here is where we stand in our truth. And many people are finding their true self right now with this opportunity to be still and quiet. Breathe in again and feel the warmth at the top of your head, where you receive the messages that help you with your future. As you're seated here now, relaxed, place yourself in your happy place. What is that wonderful place? Is it by the ocean? Is it in the mountains? Is it on a chair in the backyard listening to the birds? Is it with your children, your family, wherever it happens to be? It's that beautiful place that brings you comfort and peace. As you sit here in a place that you trust and is loving, see your future. See it as you want it to be. Hear the sounds that are there, whether it's people laughing, children laughing, the sound of the ocean, whatever it happens to be. If you have a business, clients calling you and talking to you for your services, see and hear that now. How does this future taste? Does it taste sweet? Does it have that spiciness to it? What fragrance does it have? Is it floral? Is it spicy? Is it the seashore? Whatever that fragrance is. If you reach out to touch it, what does it feel like? Is it soft? Is it fuzzy? Is it alive and electric? Whatever you see, hear, taste, and touch right now, wrap your arms around it and bring it to your heart. Hold it there. Hold it there, and now expand. Expand. Breathe in and feel your heart just grow and expand. Know that whatever you're feeling right now is what is real. That you are in touch with this. That you can do this. And you are not alone. You have guidance. You have help. And you are not alone. Breathe that in. Breathe that in fully. See it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it. And so it is. Thank you.
Wow, I got to pay attention because you could have me just drift off to sleep there, girl. I want to thank you so much for being a part of our messages of inspiration and hope today. And, you know, Donna, it really is a blessing for me to sit here as a host and listen to all these wonderful presentations. And, you know, I just enjoy being a part of it because I learn something from each and every speaker. And the reason I say that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to speakerspathway.com, click on the messages of inspiration, hope, and support, because each one of our speakers will have their personal presentation there for your enjoyment, your education, and most importantly, share it with others. Donna, again, thank you so very much. And did you share your email
I did
address?
not. I just happened to think
Okay.
about that now. I was in my meditation and I forgot about that part. My website is theclaritycreator.com, and you can reach me at donna@theclaritycreator.com.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. And I've got to bring Janie Sterling to the show there. So let me cut off your video, Donna. I got to do all this techie stuff behind the scenes. And I really do appreciate when I'm on the radio that Ben does this for me. And let's see here. It's not wanting to click on there for some reason. I don't know what's going on there with it. Here we go. There you go, Donna. I mean, Janie, did you get the response from me to cut your video on?
Yes. Here we go.
Okay, cut it on.
Okay.
Okay, good deal. Now let me do a couple of things. First of all, you're going to talk to us about keeping calm in the midst of chaos. Is that correct?
Yes. And I'm going to add a little bit to that about letting go of doubt to achieve your dreams. So you can do that. So I'm going to
Okay.
weave in some other content. That's
Mhm.
okay.
Sure, sure,
Okay.
because this is your message to the folks out there of messages of inspiration, hope, and support. Let me do a couple of things. Let me give you the spotlight, number one. And number two, let me mute my mic and shut off my video, and the stage is yours.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Jim, for bringing me onto the screen today. And thank you, Speakers Coalition, for this opportunity to have this time with all of you. I'm excited to be here. I have a lot of cool content, a lot of content that I bring to my clients that I use on my podcast. And I have to be honest with you for a second. I want to share a little story with you. So as I sat preparing for this presentation, I went through the pieces of how coaching looks, how do you create change, and this topic is called charting your course for change, and that we're going to definitely address that, but I have to be honest with you about something. One of the things, along with many of the things that I help my clients do, is to get out of their comfort zone. So as I was writing this, I found myself going into a script, the well-worn script of what probably many people have used many times within coaching, within the personal development industry. And I just went step by step in the safe steps that I'm used to, that we've all heard so many times before. And I caught myself and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm actually I'm shutting down my heart a little bit for what I really want to say, to keep to this well-worn script that I know is safe and I know that will be within the box and within the boundaries. So as I was saying, we're going to stick with charting your course for change. And I wanted to let you know that I'm going to now speak from not only the content, but from my heart and from my own experience, and to let you all in on how I came to be where I am and how that you too can achieve what you want to achieve, despite whatever the circumstances are in your life. So here we go. I'd like to start with a quick story. So about 3 years ago, my family and I traveled to Yellowstone National Park. And we were driving through the park and it was beautiful and the mountains were just glorious and the water was sparkling and we saw a beautiful river. And we pulled over to the side of the river and there were river rocks that went from one bank to the other side of the bank. My son decided to hop along the rocks and go from one side to the other. And I sat there and I thought, that is a great idea. I think I'm going to do that. I'll follow him. So I started to climb on the rock and hop from rock to rock to rock. And the rest of my family, who was very concerned that I would fall, was yelling, "You're going to fall, be careful, don't do that, you're going to fall." And so you could probably guess what happened. And they meant this in all love. But what happened was I fell into the river. And I came jumping right back out again because it's freezing cold water there in Montana. But I never forgot that. And I realized that that is so often what I might do to myself, is speak to a way that injects doubt into something I'm trying to accomplish. And then that is what makes me start to play small, which is what was happening even in this presentation. And for me to walk the talk and practice what I preach for my clients about living a happy and healthy life and living outside of your comfort zone, I'm going to do the same. So that story is just a pivotal moment where I realized, wow, this is long before I was a coach. The ways that we speak to ourselves in the inner critic or injecting doubt, injecting fear, is something to pay attention to, not something to buy into. So you can hear yourself talk and you can hear your mind chatter, but you don't necessarily have to buy into the chatter. You get to decide how you're going to think and feel despite what the chatter is. And you can learn how to calm that chatter and go after what you want. So in light of everything that's been going on for all of us in the past days, weeks, months, with so much change, coaching is about change. So I've been talking to a lot of my clients and bringing presentations about creating even more change, intentional change. And some of the responses have been, holy cow, Janie, there has been so much change. How could we want more change in this moment? And I want to address that and to say that change begets change. So we are in the midst of a global change, a global shift, and that will actually help you create more change in your life on a positive level. So we have this opportunity to look at life in a different way, whether it was forced or not. This is where we all are. I mean, literally all of us are here. And we have a momentum going where we've got to become resourceful, resilient, rebound, and redefine what our new reality will be. So in light of that context, there might be some changes that we can all make that may have been here before the lockdown, before we were all on lockdown. And I thought of myself even saying that. I've never said those words before. Before we were all on lockdown, there may have been changes that you've wanted to make in your own life, but didn't really know how or where to start. Well, here is a time where we've all been sort of shaken to a bit, to the core possibly, and now might be a great time to start because we're already in that momentum. That wave is already rolling. So how do you do that? How do you start telling yourself a new story after you've been sheltering in place? How can you roll with the changes that are happening around you and also create change that you want to achieve in your life? So the first place I would start is letting go of the doubts, the old thought patterns, and the old beliefs that may have been holding you back long before this pandemic. So back to the story of me hopping on the rocks and falling in the river. That was me buying into doubt. I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall. And then my energy and my body went right to my voice, I'm going to fall. And sure enough, I fell. That's the way it goes. So the ways that we speak to ourselves and dictates the focus that we have, dictates the emotions we have, the behavior we have, the decisions we make. It is a slippery slope and it escalates really quickly. But here's the great news. When you catch it early, that this is the way that you speak, and it might even sound like a different voice. It might even sound like it's coming from somewhere else in your mind. When you catch it early, and the thing that's so interesting is that it's usually the same phrase or phrases. So if you start where you know what you say to yourself, mine happens to be, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I don't know how to do this. That's how it starts. That's the voice. And then I start feeding right into that thought unless I catch myself. So what stories do you have to let go of? What ways that you speak to yourself must you let go of to move into a new reality and intentionally create new realities within the global new reality that we have? So the ways that we speak most often starts with questions that we ask ourselves, and then the answers that we then give ourselves. So say, for instance, you want to lose weight and you get on the scale and you see a number that maybe is a number that you're not really hoping for, something that you were not so pleased with. Let's just say that. You look at that number and you ask yourself, why can't I have any self-control in my food? How come I keep doing this? Why can't I lose weight? It's never going to change. And that's the way you speak to yourself. Well, from there, you answer that question with, well, because, you don't have any self-control. You never did, right? Your mom's been telling that for years. You don't have any self-control. And then you start behaving in a way that proves that statement correct. So if we rewind, get back to that beginning situation, say you step on the scale, you see the number, and you think, how can I treat my body in a way that it will support me, keep me healthy, and allow me to create energy to move forward in my life? Well, that's a whole different kind of question that will have a very different type of answer. Well, you can eat nutritionally, you can exercise, you can get better sleep, you can drink water. Now we come up with ways and reasons and resources to move forward. So letting go of the ways that we question ourselves will help with the thoughts that we have ourselves and the stories that we create. The next thing I wanted to bring into was defining success on your own terms and giving yourself permission to succeed. So I do have a story about this one too, and also letting go of maybe some roles that are from the past that are no longer current in your present day. So for many years, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I enjoyed that role. I loved that role. I raised 4 kids. And from being a very little girl, I was taught that being a stay-at-home mom was the best job in the world. And it is on so many levels. And then as my kids started to grow up and not needing me as much, I clung onto that role very hard because I didn't know who else I was without that role. The circumstances had changed, yet I was clinging on to that role. So fast forward, I had to redefine my role. And that is what led me into coaching. So years ago, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar with one of my sons. And I had never been in that environment before and was so inspired and so lit up and so positively motivated that I knew that I had to get into the world of coaching. So I went up to the coaching table at Tony Robbins and I said to them, I must be a coach here. I had no idea how to be a coach. I was just a stay-at-home mom. At least that's the way I defined myself. And because of my certainty, because of my determination to do this thing that I was so excited about, I forgot all about the doubt and all the ways that I would speak to myself. And sure enough, they said, all right, sit down, let's have a talk. So fast forward, I coached with the Tony Robbins coaching team for many years. I'm now on my own in my own coaching practice. But the point being is that I had to let go of a role. I had to shake off the doubt and the ways that I self-talked to myself to move forward into a role that I had never done before. So that's what I would propose to you in the new reality that we are stepping into. This is a new chapter. So how will you roll with the changes? What old stories do you have about yourself? What old beliefs do you still hold on to that may be getting in the way of what you want to achieve? So once you've decided what you want to achieve, you have a vision for what you want in your life. What do you have to let go of? So for me, it was letting go of the doubt. For me, it was letting go of a role that is no longer in the present day. It was recreating and redefining, re-identifying who I was in my life and how I would move forward from then on. So remember the stay-at-home mom thing I was just telling you about? Well, the rock bottom moment I had about that was when I could not even give myself permission, this is years ago, to move forward in any area of my life. I had to check in with friends. I had to check in with family. I found myself talking to strangers out in line to get approval and permission from other people to move forward and do something different in my life. And I realized, holy cow, this is coming from the outside in. I have to, what is it about me that I keep seeking approval and trying to find permission from everyone other than from me? I decided right then that my self-actualization, my living to my truest potential must come from me. I must take the lead in my own life to create the life that I dreamt of. So that's what I did. And that's when I was coaching with Tony Robbins, and leaving there, had to create another role in a coaching practice of my own. But I thank that part of me from yesterday. Yesterday me brought me here. So I don't look back on decisions or situations and hold on to them or regret. And I offer that suggestion to you as well. Thank it. Realize what you've learned from it. See where you can take those gifts and those strengths and move forward in your own life and create a bigger, more vibrant, more improved, expanded version of your life. So today, I certainly do want to know what family and friends are doing and how they're thinking, but the self-actualization, me doing what I am born to do, my purpose, my why, comes from me. So it comes from me first. And that was through the process, just like a rock in the river, tumbling down the river of life and being shaped and formed into who I am today. And that's really where we all are right now. So I am offering is as food for thought for now, being that we are moving out of sheltering in place and all the ways that we've been held down, so to speak, held back, locked in, and life is starting to reopen. Chapters are starting to reopen. How will your mind reopen? How will the new chapter of your life look? So at the end of the day, we can't control all the circumstances. We cannot control that there is a pandemic going on. We can't control that we've had to be in lockdown, or maybe some of us are still in lockdown. But what we can control is the thoughts that we have, the stories that we tell ourselves, and the decisions that we make from the mindset that we are in. That's where true freedom lies. So that is my hope for all of you, to understand that and to live intentionally and on purpose, to shine the light on your own life. You only get one precious life. This is it. So I hope for you health and happiness, and get out there and do something. It's time. It's time to take action. So if you'd like to learn more about me, you can find me at janiesterling.com, or you can find me at Facebook at Janie Sterling Coaching. And I thank you for your time today, and everyone take care and be well. Thank you. Julie, I think we're going to turn it over to you.
Like this?
I, I think so. Let's do it.
God, just take me. There's no bolt of lightning. There's no strong gust of wind. There's no strong urge to jump. You don't care either. By the time I was 19 years old, there on the side of the mountain, I had already been mentally, physically, and emotionally abused on almost a daily basis by my mom. I had been raped, sexually abused. I had two brushes with death. I thought I was gay. I was an alcoholic and drug abuser and didn't know it. And I wanted out. I thought I was unlovable, that since my own birth mother had given me up, that I was unworthy of love. Today, I stand before you and I'm happy, healthy, whole, full of grace, unconditionally loved. I have joy. I know peace. I've built 4 successful businesses from the ground up. I have over 38 years of sobriety and no mind-altering chemicals. I enjoy my life. It tears my heart every time I hear of a young person committing suicide or another mass shooting. It doesn't have to be that way. Those are people with little or no hope. My name is Julie, and I am the founder of A Life Worth Living online. I'm here to give you hope. And we're going to laugh because how I got through all of this is funny. I would like to share with you this 3-step process of trust, adjust, and assist so that you too can get through whatever you're going through, because I believe you have a life worth living too. And if it's not you, it's someone that you know. So go back to that mountain. I walked up to the dorm. I was in college at the time. I was looking for God. I was taking a class in Japanese art and history. I didn't know who God was. I was at the end of my heavy drinking. I was drinking 15 kamikazes, a couple 7-7s for the road. I'd drink a few beers and smoke a few joints before going into the bars. And that was my evening drinking. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I got through all this. I was going to counseling at the same time. I checked myself into a hospital after trying to sleep out in the snow in a canyon, right? Colorado, Chicago and in Colorado, trying to get away from society. Because it was right after President Reagan got shot in 1981, and he had lived through it. And one of the girls in the dorm said, "Oh, they missed. They didn't kill him." And I thought, what a horrible thing to say. How can you feel that way? I felt like life, the whole, everything had turned upside down, that all the bad guys were out to get the good guys, and the good guys were only a few people that I hung out with and drank with. It was horrible. So I went into the hospital, checked in, was seeing a counselor in town, seeing a counselor at the school. One was dealing with the past, one was dealing with the present. And I wanted out. That weekend, my girlfriend called up from Denver, and I had just come out of the closet in college, and she had taken off. And she called up, and I'm still like wasted from the night before. And so she calls up, and she says, "Hey, how you doing?" and everything. I'm like, "Great." And I said, "Where are you?" She said, "I'm in Denver." I said, "Come back to Durango. I love you. You know, what are you doing there? Come back." She said, "No, I can't do that." I said, "Why not?" She said, "Because I found Jesus." And I'm like, "That's nice. Come back to Durango. I love you. We're a couple. We're together. You know, I miss you. It's been 3 weeks or so." She says, "No, I can't. I found Jesus." I was like, "Fine, bring him too." I wanted to know what he had that I didn't have. So, you know, yeah, bring him. So she was trying to explain to me about Jesus, and she put this other lady on the phone who tried to explain it to me, and I'm still like wasted from the night before. This is like 10:30 Sunday morning, woke me up out of a dead sleep or being passed out, whichever, and was not comprehending what was going on. And they said, "Look," they said, I said, "What is this? What's going on?" And because I wanted to know who stole my girlfriend. And they said, "Here, we met this lady, Valerie, go talk to her. She's she's there in Durango. She's an ex-Hells Angel biker chick, ex-heroin addict." And I'm like, my kind of person, right on. So I called up Valerie, and we met at the Denny's restaurant one night. And I asked her, I said, "What's going on? You know, what's Sherry into? You know, why isn't she here?" And you know, she started telling me about how she had met Jesus and how she got saved and turned her life over to the Lord, and how that enabled her to have a better life, and how She was able to get away from the biking gang, and she was able to get off heroin. And um, I told her, I said, well, how do you know who's real? You know, I'd already looked at all these different religions during my time that year in college. And I was like, how do you know who's telling you the truth? You know, I was kind of I was studying Hinduism and Buddhism. I had checked out a Catholic church and some other non-denominational churches in the area and whatnot. And I said, how do you know who's telling you the truth? And, you know, I said, Buddhism, I'm kind of liking that Buddhist guy, you know, who doesn't like a fat, happy guy, you know? I was like, you know, I'm kind of liking that. And she said, you know, I wondered the same thing. And she said, she figured that the Bible is the longest, one of the oldest books in the world. It survived at least 2,000 years, or almost 2,000 years. And she said that until she had given her life to the Lord, the Bible didn't make sense to her. And once she did give her life to the Lord, the Bible started making sense. And she was reading it, and she would go to churches, and she would listen to what the people said, and she would write down the scriptures that they were quoting, and she would go home and check it out. She'd either agree with it, disagree with it, or if she didn't understand or didn't know, she'd put it on a shelf. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm like, you know, the thing about Buddhism and Hinduism, though, for me, you got to come back until you get it right. I don't want to come back here. I'm done. This place sucks. No way. And she said, I said, when you go to heaven, I go, do you have to come back or do you get to stay? And she says, we get to stay. I said, sign me up. I'm a one-trip chick. I am not coming back. I went to church that Sunday where she invited me to go. I did give my life to the Lord, got baptized in the Holy Spirit, evidence of speaking in tongues, new creation. Woohoo! Gonna go out and save the world and tell all my friends. So that didn't work out real well. About 3 months later, I went back to Illinois to visit. The ladies at church had told me, don't go out with your old friends and hang out because they will drag you back to what you used to do. So you got to avoid that. Okay, fine. I got this. I got the full armor. Should have put a chastity belt on that full armor. I go out with a guy that I used to do business with in college, and we go up to Great America. He's smoking a joint. Oh, and you know, I hate to smoke alone. Yeah, whatever. I don't do that anymore. You know, you go ahead and smoke. So finally wore me down. I'm like, okay, it's not going to do any harm. I'll have a joint with him. Smoked it, got to the park. It's not open. It's closed because too many people are in and they can't let any more in. Oh, man. Go back to my parents' house. They are out of town. I'm smoking, coming back. I've already started to get high. I add some Tylenol 3 with codeine, I think, and some booze. We wind up in bed where we had never been before, and I'm fertile ground, and I wind up pregnant. Angry with myself. I found out that I was pregnant. I was furious. I called up the lady in Denver, and I said, I screwed up. You know, I screwed up. I had the golden ticket. And I went out with this guy, and I wasn't supposed to, and I did anyway, and I thought I could save him, and I'm pregnant, and I don't know what to do. And I said, you know, the devil got me pregnant. And she said, the devil didn't get you pregnant. God gives life. The devil doesn't. Okay. Yeah, right. Great. You know, I'm bringing another human being into this life, into this world that I hate. You know, I was angry with myself, and I was angry with God, and didn't know what to do. My parents wanted me to abort, and I wouldn't do it. I thought, if God gives life, then who the hell am I to take it away? So I wound up going back to Denver, and I went out there, and she let me stay at her place so that I could have the baby and give it up for adoption. I started praying, though, because I knew what a screw up I was and how hard, how I had already fallen. And I thought God didn't want to have anything to do with me because I screwed up so badly. I had already gotten the golden ticket. What, you know, I didn't know grace. Didn't know what grace was. So I moved into a house after being with her for a while I was pregnant, and I prayed every day to protect the baby because I knew that I wasn't that good, and I was trying to do controlled drinking and not do any drugs. And I wound up going out with friends again from college, not the brightest thing to do, and wound up just going to go out and have a couple beers, not get drunk, have some water in between the beers, no problem. So no, it was a problem. I wound up coming home drunk every single time. So when I moved out of Pauline's house into another house, they were full of people that were in AA and Al-Anon. And I was angry with the world, angry at everybody, angry at myself, angry at God, angry at the guy, angry at everything and anything. And they said, somebody needs to do an inventory. And I'm like, well, what the heck is an inventory? And So the 3-step process that I show the people that I work with is trust, adjust, and assist. And I didn't think that I was an alcoholic. I was just turned 20 years old. How can you be an alcoholic and just turn 20? My dad was the alcoholic, not me. And Bob sat me down and he said, I'm an alcoholic and I only drank beer. And I'm thinking, lightweight. And he said, my clicker doesn't work. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? My clicker doesn't work. And he said, Donna goes out and she has a couple of beers, has a couple of glasses of wine, 1.5 glasses of wine, and her body starts to get that buzz on and she gets that out of control feeling and her body says, stop, enough. And she stops. And so then he said, my body's different. I start to drink alcohol. And he said, my body screams more. He says, my clicker doesn't work. He said, we're not sick people. We're not bad people getting good. We're sick people getting better. Okay. So, so I was like, okay. So I said, what do I do? And he said, you got to learn who to trust. And so I had to trust God again. And that was very difficult because I thought that I was a dead woman walking. I had to learn how to adjust, allow him to adjust everything inside of me, clean out that anger, clean out the stuff in me. I found out over time that I was a jerk to people, that it wasn't just them being a jerk to me. And then I had to learn, didn't have to, but then I learned how to assist people the right way without putting myself in harm's way and to get out and give what's been given to me. A lot of the women that I've coached and everything, love working with me because we just crack up and I'm so real with them and I'm honest. I don't pull any punches. So my mom had continued to abuse me until the end of my life. And there was other things that I didn't talk about. But one night I was lying in bed and I saw a picture of this little girl and she was standing there just crying, tears streaming down her face. She was so afraid. She had black hair. She had that blue poofy dress with the poof that came out above the knees, those black patent leather shoes and the white lace anklet socks turned over at the ankles. And she was just crying. She looked so afraid and so alone. And I said, Lord, who is that? And he said, it's your mother. I just started bawling, crying. I felt bad for her. I was like, oh my God. I remembered what the counselor had said from years back, that her mom had died when she was age 3 or 4 before she got adopted by her aunt and uncle. And I just cried and I sobbed and I felt bad for her. And all of a sudden these houses just started to lift and they just came off and I was light and I was free. You can have that too. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at Julie Eisenman on Facebook, or you can reach me at A Life Worth Living Online at Facebook. Thanks, Speakers Pathway, for giving me the opportunity to talk. And you too have a life worth living.
Julie, thank you so much. Such powerful words. And your Jim is not here. I'm wrapping it up for Jim. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I talk?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That seemed like it was less than 20 minutes.
It was about 18, I think.
Really?
Well, because okay. I wasn't preparing to time everybody.
I looked at the clock on the stove. I looked at the clock on the stove to time myself because I knew that he was going to do the 3 minutes.
All right, good. So where can people find you, and what's your email?
So it is. My email address is Julie Eisenman, EISENMANN @AOL.com. And then online, Julie Eisenman, or go to, on Facebook, A Life Worth Living Online. And that's my page. That's where the information is on the courses that I'm doing. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I can't tell you how much joy I get in finally getting out here to people in masses and be able to tell them, you know what, you have a life worth living too. You know, life is good. There is hope. You don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to go out and shoot up people. You're not going to feel better. And when I talk in the long version of my story, and if I do an hour talk, I talk about my walking in on my mom that was killing my dad one night, and I walked in and prevented that from happening. And I realized with all the anger that I had that I knew what it was like to be angry enough to kill. And so, you know, my hope and desire is to help people get into counseling, find God, do something to who to trust, you know, and how to work through it.
Absolutely. Well, you are a badass lady. I know I can say that on here, but I'm going to. Make it
I was
later.
so careful.
We are going rogue. I want to bring Donna back on. And I need a little guidance on this. Do you know how to? Okay, so Donna, we need you to come in. Let's see.
She might be able to unmute herself.
I've unmuted,
and
yeah, I unmuted myself, but I can't get back on video. The host
Okay,
has
so
to do
that's
that.
what I'm trying to see. All right.
Hi, nice to meet you, ladies.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, I was sitting there waiting. They told me to be ready at 8:40 in the morning. And I had called in and I was waiting. And then 3 minutes before I logged out again and tried the way that I came in. So I was like, crap, already late to the party, but I was sitting out there. He said I was waiting as a participant. I used the iPhone. Ooh, he knocked himself off.
And okay, Donna, I'm seeing a camera with a line through it. We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
video.
touch that.
Oh.
Yeah. Touch that or click on it.
On.
Well, I don't think you have the hosting anymore. Speakers Pathway does now.
Okay.
Hi. Hi, Jim. Jim just let me know he's been having a hard time getting back in. He got bounced out.
Hi, Don.
So I'm jumping in.
Oh, hi. We want to
Okay.
see Donna. We don't know how to bring her in.
All right. So Donna?
Yes.
All right. Well, I asked her to start her video. Now there she is.
Okay.
So
Yay.
I haven't been lurking, so I'm not quite up to speed. So who's spoken already?
We all have. We all
did
have.
it.
Okay. Excellent. So I just have to do the easy job of wrapping up.
Well, Janie.
Yeah, you'll have to edit it because it's pretty.
Yeah. And Janie took over when Don got lost.
Oh, goodness.
Jim got lost. I'm sorry.
It's not my
Jim got
Tony
lost.
Robbins training. Like I can handle, like whatever happens, I'm just going to run with it. So I was just going to wrap it up, which I'm so happy to do.
Why don't you do it?
Ladies, you are awesome. Donna and Julie, I'm so happy to have met you. And Don, there you are. It's great to see you too. Hey. So I've had so much fun, and it was awesome that we got to just figure this out. I actually love that.
You did a great job, Janie. You did a fantastic job.
This is what the world is like now, right? It's,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
stuff happens, unexpected stuff happens, and there's helpers around,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah,
helpers
thanks,
around.
Janie, for
Janie
taking
did a
over.
great job. Just come in with a diving catch and click buttons and figure it all out.
I was thinking we are three smart, awesome women. There is no way we're not figuring this out, and we did.
That's right.
Awesome. You just needed the host to come in to add somebody's video. That's all. The only value I added today.
Yeah, and I'm going to learn how to do that when we hop off. Believe it.
Well, I'll just also personally thank you all for volunteering to be part of this program, sharing your own messages of inspiration, hope, and support. And I know Jim would love to be here, but he was having some technical difficulties getting back in. So once again, thank you so much for being part of this. And you expect to see your videos once we edit them. You'll each get your own video and just share.
Thank you, Don. This
Thanks,
was a
Don,
pleasure.
for the opportunity.
This was great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye,
Thanks,
ladies.
Don.
Bye.
Meet you.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for sharing.